In the throes of a global recession, as economists advise the population to batten down the hatches and weather the storm with fierce fiscal restraint, Rik and Zara Leaf sold their house and spent a year traveling around the world with their son Zion and daughter Riel, investing their life savings in the adventure of a lifetime. That's right, as the economists zigged, we zagged, and lived to tell the tale.
I hope you guys don't pick up any little mites.
The journey started simple enough, with the belief that taking risks is a valuable investment. But the decision to really go for it involved lots of anxious what-ifs and are we out of our frigging mind?
Hey Riel, nice classroom you've got.
But the thought of abandoning conventional wisdom and getting away with it was just too exciting and tempting to pass up. Thankfully, because ultimately it led to an odyssey of adventure and discovery.
Oh, yeah. This is so fun.
No regrets, not a single one.
I first met Rik Leaf in 2005, and it was right around the time when house concerts were just springing on the scene right here in Winnipeg. So it's only fitting that we have Rik here discussing another house concert right here on location at Sonia's Flowers in the heart of the North End. Rik is a recording artist, he's a producer, a TV host, name it, he's done it. Until now, traveling around the world with his family and a book, 4 Homeless Millionaires. That's Rik's story and his great adventure with his family. Plus, he's back at it with his music.
To open your mind, you can reach down deep inside. You know, I think everybody has a dream. Doesn't have to be traveling around the world, but I think everybody has a dream, and ours was to do something as a family before the kids got too old, before we got too old. And I think we realized that, you know, there's never gonna be the perfect time. The planets aren't gonna always align, the economy's not gonna be perfect, the timing isn't, you know, at some point you just gotta take a risk and you gotta say, if this is what I wanna do, then I'm gonna do it. And we just got to that point in our relationship where we're just like, we want the world to open up and expand for our kids and spend some time as a family, and so we just went for it. Underneath the make-believe, we are one. Everyone was excited. Our kids at the time were 13 and 9, so they were young enough that they hadn't hit the point where they didn't want to hang out with their parents. And they were old enough where they could carry their own backpacks and be aware and really part of the trip. So there was just nothing but excitement for all 4 of us. Well, we knew we were going to travel for a year. We started off traveling in Canada because we decided before we left we weren't going to come back to Winnipeg. We were going to try a new chapter somewhere else. So we kind of traveled across Canada to see if we could find out where we might like to live. And then we went to Hawaii and Malaysia and Australia and New Zealand before flying up to Europe and spending about the last 3-4 months traveling around Europe. And so what we would do is, I mean, some countries like Australia and New Zealand, you have to have an exit visa to enter the country. They need to know that you're planning to leave. So that we knew, okay, we're going to be 6 weeks in Australia, we'll be 6 weeks in New Zealand, that sort of thing. But we would plan what we were going to do in that country once we arrived. We were in Hawaii and we snuck onto the set of Lost because we were super excited about the show, and they were filming their final season and no security was there because they weren't filming, so we were cruising around in the huts, and then the security guy showed up and kind of interrupted our, you know, imaginary being Sawyer and Jack and Kate. But anyway, that was a pretty fun experience with the kids to, you know, realize that you could get busted with your parents doing something, you know, naughty, and that could be a family building exercise. New Zealand was just an amazing place to visit. I mean, so much to see and experience and do, and it just felt like we'd fallen off the face of the earth. You know, we were down in some of the most rugged, pristine country, just hiking, and there were some magic moments in there. And then, you know, you get to Europe and just the history of just climbing over castle ruins with your kids that were, you know, occupied in Roman times. And it was those sorts of to be all of us, to be there for each one of those experiences, you know, was that's been really magic at the time. And, you know, now that the trip is over, for us to have those shared memories where all four of us were there for every one of them, that's great. When you take a risk and you really invest in your dreams, I think part of what happens is you realize what you're capable of to a greater degree, what you can live without, and what's really important to you. I remember somebody said, I can't believe you destabilize your life like this and sell your house and leave your jobs for a year. And I guess I'd never really looked at my house. I like my house, I like my job, but I didn't look at that like that's what made my life stable. My relationship with Zara and us as a family was the stability for me as an individual and for us as a group. So we feel more stable and more as a couple and as a family than we probably have ever felt. And I think the kids saw them, you know, they grew immensely in the challenges that they faced. I mean, they navigated some of the busiest airports and train stations in Europe, traveling with their own backpack and Lego and stuffies, and I mean, they did it. They made friends with people who didn't speak their own language. I mean, the world really, I think they got a handle on themselves and the kind of the world of possibilities that exists for them, you know?
Wow, what an incredible journey. I can't believe it. I want to ask though, Rik, your last couple of answers or your statements that your kids learned a lot. Number one, they learned how to travel. So I'm thinking, okay, so where did you stay? Like, how did you eat?
You know, I don't know if you'd believe this, but we found that we spent less money traveling around the world for a year than we would have if we'd stayed here and lived in Winnipeg. Because we didn't have any mortgage payments or utility bills or anything else. So when you free up that kind of money, we stayed in lots of hostels. There's international kind of networks of hosts and travelers where you can, you know, just stay at somebody's home. You know, there's a network where you can connect with people like that. We had any friends and family that we had around the world, we stayed that way, and ate a lot of really inexpensive meals on beaches around the world.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about where you live now. Because you had mentioned you chose to travel across Canada first to find out where you'd like to go.
Well, we decided we'd go to Vancouver Island, and so we live in Victoria right now, and we live in a big house. The adventure continues because we actually rent a big house and live in community with another family of 6 and 2 university students. So we have 12 of us who share this big mansion that we live in an old 120-year-old mansion, but just finding, you know, community that again, it's an adventure on how you live and how you share your life and your values with other people around you. So I was going to take a pause. I don't know if this is supposed to be continual, but
it is.
I'm sorry.
I know, but you know, you're always thinking ahead. Okay, you're still doing the music though. That's what I love.
Yes, I am. I just finished a new CD called Rhythms and Rhymes. Of course, as a poet, and I love storytelling in all its forms, right? So spoken word and slam poetry is part of what I do. So I did this last CD with a Mohawk poet named Janet Rogers. She's the poet laureate for Victoria. And so I recorded about 6 new songs, and then we recorded a bunch of poetic kind of vignettes that kind of fit in between that have music to them and everything. So it's a project unlike anything I've ever done before.
Wow, and were you inspired by all these world travels to come back and do music?
Oh yeah, more than ever.
Yeah.
You know, you always have to embrace your creativity to remain innovative in this ever-changing economy and climate. So it's just adding the book and the storytelling to the concerts and the music and kind of all moving forward in one focused way.
Oh, well, we're so happy to have you back, Rik, to have Zara and Riel and Zion safe. And we wish you well in your communal home in Victoria. And we can hardly wait for the next Rik Leaf adventure.
Well, it's great to be back in Winnipeg. This will always feel like home. So this has been a great week, and tonight and tomorrow, and McNally Robinson on Sunday doing a little book signing. If you happen to be around Grant Park, you know, people should stop in.
And see Rik. And now you can hear Rik. We're going to leave you now with a song. And thank you so much, Rik.
Thanks. please would you say a prayer to open your mind? You're gonna reach down deep inside. You're gonna pull back, yeah, the blinds till the light fills your mind. And you know you wonder, how could I miss this till now? I don't know why, but today you know it feels better. Somehow, yeah. And I don't know why, but it speaks much better. Oh, to me, yeah. Yeah. Speak with your life. Beauty is simple, yeah. Time, oh, to listen a while. You're gonna reach down deep inside. You're gonna pull back, yeah, the blinds till the light fills your mind. You know you wonder, how could I miss this till now? I don't know why. It feels better. Oh, somehow, and I know it somehow, and I don't know why, but it speaks much better. Oh, to me, I don't know why, but today you know it feels better. Yeah, much better. Today, you know it feels just a little